All right, I think we are now live. Hey, players, welcome to another live stream here on my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Josh. Every single week, I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories, teaching you how to be your best self. And in this live stream, we're going to be talking all about 5 creepy behaviors that scare away your crush. These are things I don't want you to do. These are mistakes I see a lot of people make whenever they're talking to their crush, whenever they're trying to interact with them, flirt with them, whatever it may be. They're simple. Oh, I feel like I have something on my teeth. My lips. These are simple mistakes that I think a lot of people run into simply because they don't think through every behavior, every message, everything that they do. Sometimes it's a reactionary approach to talking to your crush. So it can be a problem if you do some of these things because it can come off as creepy to your crush. And I want to prevent you guys from making those mistakes. It seems to be running okay on my end. Hopefully it's not freezing or slowing it, run its own end. But as I said, I'm going to jump into these 5 creepy behaviors. Before I do that, I want to give shout outs to all the early birds here in the chat. Those are the people that are jumping into the live stream at the very, very beginning. So happy to have you guys. I'm happy to talk about this topic. And if you want to get a shout out, just jump into the chat right now. Say hi, introduce yourself to all the early birds that are in here. Let's see who we got. This thing not loading now. All right, hopefully it'll load. Anyway, let's jump and see who all the early birds are. We got Hamish. Hamish, I think you're the very first person for, I think, the 4th time in a row to jump in the live stream. So, Hamish, good to have you, man. Midco Orange is in here. Rage Master, Elijah Chadwick, Red Lightning, Dario Cervantes, Yeezy's in here. Scott and Cheesy, Jalen, Joel Maroney, Austin, Nickel Ropla, Stuart Douglas, happy to have you, Stuart. Joel Maroney, I said Joel Maroney. Yancey's in here, good to have you, Yancey. Daniel Galladay, Callum J, Rage Master, Haley Davidson, JVR Poopy, one of my favorite YouTube names. Day Video Studio, good to have you, man. Stars Gaming, Shadow Plays, Lenny Mwangi, Power Adapters in here, Captain Quint, Kessin Azor, Shravan Kumar, Eli Jones, Dark Tar Official. Hey, good to see you, Dark Tar. Happy to see your feedback and input on the comments and stuff every time I post a new video. Booby is in here. Booby, I guess, runner up for my favorite YouTube name. Creed Bratton. The last guy named Creed Bratton. I'm not even going to tell that joke. Anyway. Sky's Cryptic is in here as well. Christian Barron, don't worry, Christian, you're not late at all. Un Sabueso is in here. Hamza Shalabi is in here. Elijah Chadwick. Aoxy is in here. Kakashi Hatake. Good to have you, Kakashi. Cool, guys. So, as I walk through these 5 points, I just want to let you know this, that if you have a burning question, this is something that's on your mind that you want to get my opinion on, you want to ask it, use the super chat function. You could donate $1 or $2 or whatever it may be, and that's going to put your question front and center. I'll hear a little fire sound. I'll pull your question up. I'll stop what I'm talking about, and I will answer your question then and there. So feel free to use the super chat function whenever you have a question that you need to ask. Now, as I move into the points here, guys, I want to talk a little bit about what is creepy behavior? Why do people do it? And why does it happen? Like, why do we kind of act in a way that's creepy? Is it an instinctual thing? Is it intentional? I think a lot of times behaviors can come off as creepy if we're acting in a way where we're not aware of how we're treating the other person or speaking to them or how we're interacting with them, right? So like you might do something, you might say something that you might think, oh, that's perfectly fine to say, but you're not really paying attention to how the other person's reacting. Are they hearing what you're saying and reacting in a positive way? Are they kind of pulling back or getting quiet? Part of limiting and stopping any kind of creepy behavior that you're going to give off is being very aware of the other person, how they're responding, and how they're kind of interacting with you back. Now, look, from what I've seen, it tends to happen that guys tend to be more creepier than girls, right? I think a lot of times, especially the guys that I speak to from all these different YouTube and Instagram and all these different places, their approach seems to be, hey, I like this girl, I want to talk to her, and nothing is going to stand in my way. I'm just going to message her, I'm going to talk to her, I'm going to just become infatuated with her to the point where like I'm just kind of making her feel uncomfortable. And then the turnaround is, oh, well, I don't know what to do, or I like her and I just want her to know that. So I want you to kind of take the small steps in limiting and eliminating your creepy behavior if you can, and starting to change The way that you interact with your crush in a way that they can be more open and receptive to what you want to offer. Because look, if you like someone, there's nothing wrong with liking someone, but it all comes down to how you choose to interact with them, how you engage with them, and how you listen to how they're reacting. So let's jump into point number 1 here, guys, and that's going to be this. The first sign that I think a lot of people give off for, creep vibes go off, that creep alert goes off, is people tend to stare at their crush, right? So what I want you to not do is don't stare at them all the time without saying anything, guys. This is something that happens a lot. I think that when people like someone, let's say you're a guy and you like a girl, you might kind of just look at her nonstop, whether she's in your class, whether she's someone that you see on the bus, someone that you go to, you see in the neighborhood. People tend to kind of like someone and just kind of become enthralled with seeing them that they just stop talking. They don't know how to interact with them, so they just stare at them and stare at them and stare at them. When you stare at your crush without saying hi, without smiling, without giving any indication that you want to talk to them, it can come off as creepy. So I want you guys to really think about that, right? Think about whether this is something you've ever done before, because it's something I've done before too, where I like a girl that was in my class, right back when I was in high school or even college, right? I liked a girl that was in my class, and instead of ever approaching her and saying hi, instead of ever smiling and acknowledging that she sees me looking back at her, I would just sit there and stare and hope that I could just stay there staring at her without anything happening, without anyone saying anything, because it was too scary to say anything, or it was too intimidating to say anything. But this is a major problem I think a lot of guys run into, that they don't know what to talk about, they don't know what to say, they don't know how to start the conversation, so instead they just stare from a distance. They just look at their crush without doing anything to kind of change that dynamic. And this is creep behavior number 1. Like, the creep alert should be going off. If you find yourself in a position where you are staring at your crush like that, there are small steps that you can take to kind of move out of that creep zone and actually move into a more manageable zone, right? So if you're in a position where you see your crush and you want to talk to them and you're just staring at them, but you're frozen in place, tell yourself this. Okay, what is one thing I can learn about my crush? Maybe I want to learn what their favorite movie is. Maybe I want to learn a good place that they love to get food. Maybe I want to learn what their hobbies are, what they like to do for fun. Come up with one thing that you want to learn about your crush, and let that be the driving motivator to start that conversation with them. So instead of you sitting there just frozen in place staring at them, which comes off really creepy if they turn and look and see you staring at them, try to just focus on one specific thing you can learn about them. Because even if the conversation is 10 seconds, 15 seconds, that's okay. That's a start. Now they know who you are. Now it's not weird if you look at them, because it shows that there's a level of interest. So let's take that example there. Let's say you tell yourself, okay, I want to learn what their favorite movie is. Start walking to your crush and say, hey, let me get your opinion on something. What's a really, really good movie to check out? Like, what's your favorite movie ever? Start that conversation with them, because now they're going to say, okay, the person was looking at me, but they came up to me, and even better, they started talking to me. They asked me a question. So I know they're not just some weirdo sitting in the corner looking at me. They actually want to get to know me. They actually want to interact with me. That's going to help you come off looking way more confident. It's going to help remove that kind of creep stigma around you, because you're not sitting there and staring at that person. I want to jump in and I want to do a chat poll here, guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Have you ever liked someone, but was too afraid to approach them, so you just kind of settled for staring at them from a distance? I know I did this in high school with a girl that like friend zoned me really, really badly. I did this in college with a girl. I've done videos on this if you guys want to check them out. I did it with a girl in college that I thought was just like the most gorgeous girl I've ever seen. And I just would never talk to her in class. And then someone else came and sat next to her and started flirting with her. And then they started going out. And I was like, that could have been me had I actually approached her. So if you've ever been in that position, jump in, say yes or no. Hey, yes or no. Have you had a crush before that you liked, but you were too scared to talk to, so you just kind of sat in the back and stared at her? Hamish, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. I don't know why. Sometimes OBS just is weird and doesn't display. So if I hear the sound, I'll pull it up. But Hamish said, I want to make a huge apology to Arbi for all the bad things I've said to you. Also, I spoke to Samaritans about my depression. Hamish, I know you and Arbi are really close friends. I think that sometimes you guys might butt heads or fight with each other, and that's okay. Sometimes that happens amongst friends. I think that we know deep down, Hamish, that you're a good person, that you have a good heart, and then sometimes you may have struggles, and sometimes those struggles manifest into behaviors that might upset people or hurt them. I think that it's wonderful that you're talking to people and you're trying to work on that element of being able to have a better sense of control in your day-to-day life. I'm super supportive of you, Hamish. I want you to succeed. I believe in you, man. I know you're a great guy. Thank you for the £5 super chat. I really appreciate it. Fern Plant says, this guy is like the beta coach for all of us blue pillars. Tired of all the coaching, tired of all the coaches acting all hard because they red pill. I'm the beta coach for all us blue pillars. I don't know. I'm assuming that's an insult. I don't know. Anyway, so to that point, I don't think I take a red pill or a blue pill approach to anything. I think the position I try to come from is one of developing inner confidence, developing a deeper sense of self, developing a more compassionate perspective in this world, and also a confident place in who you are and what you have to bring to the table. Is that red pill? Is that blue pill? You decide. I don't know. Azim, thank you for the $5 super chat. Azim says, the other day you sent me a chart on toxic positivity. Do you think Chris Pratt is an X of that because he's always happy and hyper? So that's a good question, Azim. Just because a person may be happy and hyper and excited all the time, or at least, here's the thing. Chris Pratt is a celebrity. So we really only see a quarter of that image, right? We don't know what he's like in his personal life. We don't know what he's like around his friends, around his family, or when he's by himself. We don't know the full extent of him. We only see the public image. So just because we see a person that's always happy and hyper, this is important. We shouldn't compare ourselves to the small snippet of who we see online, right? Or who we see in the movie theaters, or who we see in interviews and stuff like that. It's incredibly important to realize that, the idea of toxic positivity essentially is to not allow yourself to feel how you're feeling, right? To wash over anything you're experiencing with, oh, just get over it. Everything is good. Don't think about the bad. Because we do have moments in our lives that are sad. We do have moments in our lives that make us frustrated and angry. But to pretend like they don't exist and to assume everything is good all the time, I think is just as bad as falling into a dark hole and thinking everything sucks, right? So we need to be aware that some days are good, some days are bad, some moments are good, some moments are bad. I don't know if Chris Pratt really falls into that because, like I said, we only see a piece of his public image. And if his public image is always positive, then that's the image he gives off. But we shouldn't compare ourselves to him and say, look, he's always happy. Why can't I always be happy? We're all different people and we all have different experiences in life. So I asked you guys, have you ever kind of just stood back and stared at your crush, not knowing what to say? And here's what you guys had to say. Dario says yes. Un Sabueso says no. Keston says yes. Yancey, yes. Jalen says yes a lot. Dono says yes. Paisano says creep behaviors are not creepy. If you're Chad, it's only creepy when you're sub 5 dudes. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that Chad guys can also be creepy. I think what you may be thinking of is like, you might have seen some random screenshots of like Tinder conversations where Chad looking guys say like really messed up things and girls fawn over them. I don't think that's a good representation of male or females. I think that's a good representation of a select group of people. Because look, we have to be realistic here. The truth of the matter is that there are some people that don't have a deep sense of self and they rest and live in that shallow part of all I care about is what people think about me. All I want is money, fame, fortune, popularity, right? All they care about is these external things and not the intrinsic things. There are some people that are in that stage of their life. So what we do is we compare ourselves to those people who are living in that stage of life who haven't really developed a deep sense of self. And we say, oh, look, girls only care about this, when that's not the reality. We're just looking at this small piece of a select group there. So I'm going to read through some of these. Oh, not an insult. Yeah, I wasn't sure. What we meant exactly. But let's see. Kesson says, there's this guy I like and we've been chatting. I've been dropping a few hints and he's been dropping a few as well. Is it a good time to confess or should I wait for him? That's a good question, Kesson. I think that if you like someone, my philosophy is always this. If you like a person, whether you're a guy or girl or guy, anyone, doesn't matter. Guy, girl, does not matter. If you like someone, It's up to you to start that interaction. It's up to you to ask them out. It's up to you to build on that, because I'm not a big believer in this idea of like, I'm going to flirt with them and then wait for them to come to me, because that passive approach isn't going to lead you to what you want. The only thing that can lead you to what you want is you going after it. So if you feel like, hey, I've been flirting with him, but should I ask him out? You absolutely should. Think about something interesting that you want to do and something that you think he might enjoy along with you, and then invite him to join you in doing that, right? If you are the kind of person that loves going for walks or loves going to the beach or loves parks, say, hey, look, there's this really cool park nearby my house. You should come hang out with me. Let's go check it out. Like, start that initial interaction there. Don't wait for someone else to do it for you. Dario says, I take the word simp as an insult, but the majority who said it to me, the majority who said that to me are a bunch of jamoges. Maybe I'm saying that incorrectly, but yeah, I think that people throw around the word simp. I think simp has kind of taken on a lot of different meanings now. Simp is kind of the new it word for insulting someone or trying to demasculate someone, from the way that I see it's being used. Let's see. Reading through some more of your guys' comments here. Fernplant says, I creeped out my crush and got blocked. Yep, sorry to hear that, Fernplant. Yeah, and this is what I want to talk about, guys. Let's walk through these steps here. Let's talk about our experiences. If you've ever been blocked, if you've ever been called a creep, if you've ever felt like you were a creep to someone, share your story in the chat. I'd love to hear where you guys are coming from. But like I said, that first point there, guys, as I was saying, if you find yourself in a position where you're staring at your crush a lot, then chances are you're going to creep them out. So what I want you to instead do is, if you have the opportunity to talk to them, if you have the opportunity even just to smile and wave and say hi, this is something that I also talk about, that if, let's say, you can't really start a conversation or you're not ready to start a conversation, follow the 3-step rule for just starting any interaction. That means making eye contact with your crush, smiling, and saying hi. Just something as simple as that is going to help you feel a little bit more confident in interacting with them, rather than looking away, not making eye contact, being afraid of them, or even just staring at them and then when they catch you, looking away. It's better to acknowledge that you're looking at them, to say hi, to ask a question, to start an interaction, versus just pretending like it didn't happen when they know that it did happen. I want to jump into the second point here. JVR Poopy says, I have a question. Sure, shoot your question out into the ether sphere of the chat. Keep hitting the mic, and I will, if I catch it, I'll try to answer it. Otherwise, you can ask it as a super chat, and I'll answer it there too. Let's see. Un Sabueso says, well, I had a psychotic girlfriend that threatened to kill herself if I didn't walk her to class back in the 7th grade. Geez, I'm so sorry to hear that. That could be a lot of pressure on you, for someone kind of put you in a position where you must do something or they will hurt themselves. I think if any of you guys ever feel like you're in a situation like that, where someone's giving you an ultimatum that they will cause some kind of harm to themselves if you don't do something, it's incredibly important to talk to someone that can help them change that behavior, because you're being put in a position where, that's stressful. That's incredibly dangerous if you choose to not do it. They may hurt themselves. So if you have the opportunity to talk to a parent, talk to a teacher, talk to a counselor, or even talk to them and let them know, hey, I'm not comfortable being in that position there. I think it's important for you to talk to someone about what you're dealing with. Azim says, why do we tend to get upset over small things like rejection? That's a good question, Azim. I think the reason why we tend to get upset over small things like rejection is because we tend to attach our sense of worth to how other people think about us, right? So if you walk up to a girl and you try to talk to her and she shuts you down, or she laughs at you, or she rejects you, you feel like, hey, I'm not good enough. I suck. I'm ugly. I'm not attractive. You start to downplay yourself rather than saying, hey, I brought myself to the table. I brought who I am, my personality. I brought the things that make me here. And it just didn't work with her. We just didn't click. Doesn't mean that I'm bad, I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm that. It just means that we do not fit on the same page. And that's okay. Because now, instead of taking a victim perspective of like, I suck, you're switching it to a strengths perspective of, hey, we didn't click, and that's okay. I still know that I'm a good person. I still know that I'm fun, I'm energetic, I'm attractive, whatever it may be. I'm bringing that to the table. Man, I got to move this mic. I keep hitting it with my hands. Or maybe I just got to stop talking so much with my hands. Let's get on to point number 2 here, guys, and that's going to be this. This is the second sign of creep behavior that I want you guys to look out for. Don't lie about yourself or act inauthentic. This is so important, guys. Don't lie about yourself and don't act inauthentic with them. Now, some of you guys may say, "Oh, I don't lie. I'm pretty much me." But what tends to happen sometimes is that we like to exaggerate the truth or make up something or tell a crazy story that maybe didn't happen just to try to get someone's attention, right? Or we may do something that's out of character for us, that's not really like us, just to make someone laugh or make someone pay attention to us. And that's the authenticity part. I think that the way that your crush is going to end up getting creeped out is if they see that you're doing something to be a clown and not being yourself. If they can see that, hey, you know what, this person's just not being real with me, that's kind of creepy because now they're kind of two-faced or now they're not themselves. Like, who are they trying to be? And this is something that I talk to you guys a lot, that, you know, being your authentic self is so incredibly important, right? Like the advice people always give is, oh, just be yourself and everything will be okay. And I think I hate that advice because we often don't know who we are. We're in the process of learning ourselves and feeling confident in ourselves. It's not something we just turn it on and do. It's a building process. But when I talk about being your authentic self, that simply means wherever you are, whatever stage you're in, bring that to the table. If you're in that stage where you're nervous, acknowledge, hey, I'm nervous right now. If you're at the stage where you're confident, you're ready to talk to your crush, that's where you are too. But being authentic is going to come off real and genuine to your crush. And if you're not authentic, if you're trying to pretend like you're cool when you're not really, you know, you don't feel that, or you're trying to pretend like you're popular, or you have money, or you have all this status when that's not really who you are, your crush is going to feel like that's creepy because they're going to say, this guy's just a poser. He's just faking it. He's not being him. And then sometimes, like I said, if you exaggerate or make up things, your crush finds out, they're going to be like, that's really creepy. Like, why is this guy faking this? Why is this guy lying? And that's not the perspective you want to take. Now, look, I'm not saying walk up to your crush and go, hi, I feel incredibly awkward right now, and this is uncomfortable. Not saying to do that. What I am saying, though, is to acknowledge it for yourself and to tell yourself, okay, you know what? I feel awkward in this moment. I feel uncomfortable. But I'm going to try to find a small step that I can take, that I can kind of step a little bit outside of my comfort zone where it's not too much for me and I'm not in a position where I'm just overwhelmed. So I want to ask you guys this. It's really hot in this room. I say that every live stream. Donna says, me online. Cool. Me offline a mess. Yeah, Donna. I mean, I think that, and that's something we see too, right? That like we'll see people's social media profiles and think, oh, they have it all together. They look so cool. Everything's so perfect for them. And the truth of the matter is that social media is very, very curated. It's very, very fake, right? In a way. Yes, the people in it may be real. Yes, the pictures may even be real. But Instagram or any of these places is a story someone's trying to tell, right? Like when I post on Instagram, I try to tie whatever picture I'm taking back to something that means something to me or a lesson I've learned. And I think that, ultimately it's incredibly important to try to be authentic, to not try to be something that you're not, right? This is something I've been seeing and I wanted to share this because I think it's funny. Every so often I get comments on my videos, right? Usually the dating videos when people are like, why would I listen to this guy? He has toys in the background. I'm going to take dating advice from this guy with the action figures. I get comments like that all the time, right? I'm being my authentic self. I love to collect action figures. I have tons and tons of Marvel statues and Marvel Universe figures and Walking Dead things. I love collecting these things, right? I have my whole set here. But I also have, I think, experience in life with dating and girlfriends and relationships and heartbreak. I have all that experience too. The two don't... It's like they're not mutually exclusive. People are very complex and people have multiple facets to who they are. So I'm not afraid to be genuine and honest about the things that I like and the things I want to showcase. And I think it's incredibly important because when I meet people and I talk about myself and I talk about what matters to me, I would think that they feel that, hey, he's being genuine. Hey, he's being honest. He's not trying to create a persona like, hey guys, I'm this dating coach and I'm going to teach you how to get girls because I'm the master. I'm like, that's not real. That's not me, right? So it's incredibly important for you to also think, what does your authentic self look like here, right? if you're a little bit shy, if you're a little bit awkward sometimes, that's okay. Like, we look at these things like, oh, that makes me bad, that makes me not a good person. But the truth is, that's who you are, and it's okay. You're in the process of figuring yourself out. I think we all are. So coming from that place is going to allow you to not be in a position where you might make stuff up, or you might lie, or you might try to say things just to get your crush interested, and you're going to find yourself being a little bit more authentic. Now, I want to ask you guys this. We'll get a chat poll going. Oops, click the wrong one. Let's get a chat poll going here. I want to get your guys' perspective on this. I want every single person watching just to give a yes or no answer. Have you ever felt like you needed to play things up or kind of exaggerate just to kind of get your crush's attention? Like, like you stepped out of being authentic. Maybe you tried to pretend like you were cooler than you are, pretend like you're more popular than you are. And deep down, maybe you were nervous or shy, but that was your way of kind of hiding it. Have you ever felt like you needed to put on a level of inauthenticity to get your crush's attention? I want to get a yes or no answer from everyone. Dario says, it's not real. You kind of sound like Jesus. Jesus is awesome. He's a god. I can't compete against a god. Yeah, and I think Jesus tries to be authentic in his videos as well. But there's a lot of like YouTubers and dating people that are, I don't feel like they're being authentic, but that's a whole separate thing. I think that, their perspective is, I'm going to pretend to act this way so that I can get people to buy my course or workshop and all these different things. And that's their angle, but that's a whole separate thing. I think a lot of people on YouTube, not a lot of, that's wrong. Not a lot. A lot of people that take YouTube as a sales approach first operate like that. So I asked you guys here, have you ever felt like you needed to be inauthentic just to kind of get your crush's attention? Maybe that was kind of making something up or pretending like you were more popular, cooler than you actually felt like you were. Dono says yes. Matthew says no. Shravan says, me online, I'm awesome. Me offline, still awesome. Me in my head, I suck. Yeah, I think that happens a lot. We're inside our own minds too much and we think negatively about ourselves. Haley says no, take it or leave it, bros. I'm with you on that. Asher says yes. Jalen says yes. Daniel says yes, but not very often. Captain Quinn says yes. Matthew, no. Dark Tar. I missed it. Dark Tar, little, yeah. Jay Swag says yes. Shravan says, of course. Nickel says no. Matthew, no. Orzi, no. Gavin, yes. JRV says, I fell down the stairs, so yeah, yes. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Dario says yes. I'm seeing yes, 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 no, no, no. Aaliyah Gray says no. Kesson says yeah. So it seems like a mixed bag of yeses and nos in here. I'll tell you guys a quick story on that. When I was younger, I remember I was in high school. I used to do dumb things like in the hallways, there was like a middle railing and, like for the staircase going down. So I would always run and like try to slide on the railings, and I would sometimes fall and hurt myself. But I noticed that like my friends would laugh and other people would laugh. So I would do it. And then like looking back on it, it's like, why am I doing this? I'm doing this stupid thing just to try to get people's attention. And like I said, when it comes to the situation with your crush, if you're not being your honest self there, your crush is going to be like, this guy's creepy because he's just fake. Like he's just not acting like a real person here. Softly, good to see you, man. So let's jump into point number 3 here, guys, because I think that, like I said, I want to help you think deeper about your behaviors, think deeper about the way that you act, the way that you respond, the way that you interact with your crush, to prevent you from falling into this situation where your crush thinks you're a creep in some kind of way. So this is the third sign you should look for. We're talking about creep behaviors that scare away your crush. Don't go overboard on messaging them. Guys, this is something a lot of you have told me. You message your crush a lot, you get blocked. Or you just keep saying, hey, how's it going? Why aren't you answering? Why aren't you answering? Or, you message them and then you get upset with your crush because they're not responding. So you might say something mean to them, or you might be sarcastic and just respond in a way that kind of changes the tone of the conversation to something that's angry or bitter or you being upset. So going overboard and messaging your crush can be an extremely creepy thing to do. And the reason why it's so creepy is because it shows your crush that you're not willing to respect their boundaries, right? If you're just going to keep messaging them, if they respond, what should they expect? You're going to do the same thing, right? If you say hey 15 times in a row and they go hey, they should now know, hey, this guy's going to keep messaging me no matter what, right? He's just going to keep bombarding me with messages. And that can feel overwhelming, and that can feel stressful, and that can feel really, really creepy. It can make that guy look like, hey, he's just a real weirdo that's not willing to kind of be understanding here. So look, I think that to some degree, a lot of us have been in that situation where we message someone a lot and then they block us, or they don't want to talk to us, or they tell us that we're weird. I think some of you guys are also on the flip side where you're maybe too nervous to message your crush. Softweet, you gotta cool it, man. Gotta cool it, man. Sometimes we send a message and we're afraid to follow up because we think that they're not going to like us. If you watch my live stream from, I think, a few weeks ago or something like that, I talk about that. I talk about texting, how much to do it, how little to do it and stuff. It's a very hard line to figure out, but I do know that over texting can come off incredibly creepy to your crush. I saw someone wrote something here, but oh, that's what it was. Donna said, I did that in middle school. My crush stopped messaging me one day. Yeah, look, sometimes we do that. Hopefully we learn from those mistakes and we change that behavior. That's going to be the key piece. Jay Swag says, I definitely sent a cringe message and I regret it. I don't know what I was thinking. We don't talk anymore. Yeah, look, sometimes, you send a cringe message and kind of makes your crush feel uncomfortable and they kind of block you from that. It happens sometimes. The key piece is this, guys. Look, we're going to make mistakes. You're going to do something stupid. You're going to send something stupid. You're going to message your crush too much. These are bound to happen, right? Like, we're human. We make mistakes. The key isn't, how do I live a life where I never make mistakes? That's not the approach that you should take. The approach you should take is, when I do make mistakes, am I aware of them? Can I learn from that experience? And can I work towards not making the same mistake again? This is the key piece. It isn't a matter of like, oh, I don't want to make any mistakes. It's try your best to not make the same mistake over and over. So if you realize, oh, shoot, my crush blocked me because I messaged them 15 times in a row, that's a learning experience. You can go, okay, let me try not messaging this person too much because they're going to think I'm creepy and weird. Let me instead message them. If they don't respond, maybe I'll comment on a picture, or maybe I'll say hi to them in school, or maybe I'll talk to them when they're with their friends. Try to find different approaches in different ways. That's the learning process. That's how you change your behavior and also change your outcomes. Viperman says soft wheat equals bot. Viperman, you would think soft wheat is a bot. Soft wheat is an incredible human who can type at lightning speed and can talk at lightning speed too. But he's a valued member of the community. I'm happy that he's part of it. I enjoy his perspective, and I'm happy that he's here. He just needs to cool down. I don't know how he types so fast. Okay, so of course I'm going to ask you guys to chat poll here. Let's get every single person watching, every single person in the stream. I want to get yes or no answer. Let's see how many people are on. It says 80 people. That means I want 80 responses right now. I want everyone to say here. Have you ever over-messaged your crush before? And by over-message, I mean like sent like 3 or 4 messages in a row hoping they would respond. Or just bombarded them with comments, or bombarded them with DMs, bombarded them in some kind of way with just an overwhelming number of messages, communication messages. Have you ever done that before? Yes or no? I want to get every single person's answer on this. For myself, I'm trying to think of any specific experiences. I don't think I've ever done that where I bombarded someone with messages, but I have sent, I think, weird texts where it was like I got upset maybe at my crush for not responding, and that kind of made things weird, and they thought I was creepy from that. They're like, whoa, why is this guy getting angry at me? I was just busy. So I've definitely been in that position. I don't think I've ever over-messaged, but I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Dono says yes. Daniel says, responding in the mic. Alex Burns says yes a tons. Creed Bratton says yes. Hamish says I'm a creep. I don't think you're a creep, Hamish. Yazan TV says yes. Dario says yes. Viperman, yes. Asher says yes. Joseph says meh. Jalen says, Josh, I hope I can tell my crush what I said wasn't what I meant. Jalen, I hear you on that. It's tough sometimes to kind of make things work again once your crush has blocked you and everything. Nickel says no. Let's see. Shravan says 2 messages at most. Yeah, it's not like, oh, this is the threshold, 1 or 2 messages, 3. It's not really about that. It's more like if you're asking constant messages, trying to get their attention, that can come off as kind of creepy. Haley says, no, I send too little. Whoops. It happens. Chloe says no. Kid Sublime says yes. Donna says, wait, no. Red Lightning says, what's a point of a crush? That's a good question, Red Lightning. I think that when you have a crush on someone, it means that you feel a sense of attraction to them. You're curious about who they are as a person. Maybe you like the way that they look, or you think that they're an interesting person and you like the way that they talk. You think they're funny. It could be a lot of things that attract you to them, but that's generally what a crush is. So the point of having a crush is you feel attracted to someone and you want to develop a closer bond with them. Orzy says, yes, but I delete them. Orzy, that's a good point. So sending lots of messages and then deleting them, that person may still get the notifications for those messages. And then when they see that the messages were deleted, that looks even weirder. That can look even creepier because it's like, whoa, 5 messages from this person, but there's nothing here. Like, what's that about? That can come off even weirder. So I'd be careful with that one. Yeah, I mean, reading through some of your answers here, it seems like I said, there's a mix of people leaning more towards yes, I think, on this one, or people that have done that. And look, it happens. Like I said, the key piece here is to learn from those experiences and to move forward. I know none of you guys want to be considered a creep, right? None of you want to be labeled a creep, and none of you want to be in a position where you feel like this is the only way I can talk to them. But it's incredibly important to think, what is the perspective on their side? How are they going to see this behavior? Are they going to think it's weird if they get tons of messages in a row? Are they going to think I'm a creep and weirdo? So always trying to understand things from their perspective, because that's the key piece, right? You're trying to develop a connection with this person. And you can only develop that if you understand them a little better. Okay. What I want to do here, guys, is I want to share a few things here. After this live stream, I'm going to be jumping live over on Instagram for the Instagram after party. So what's the Instagram after party? Most of you guys know. For those of you that don't, I go live over on Instagram and I invite you guys on to video chat with me. So if you want to ask a video chat question on Instagram, you can always request to go live. I'll bring you on. It's pretty cool, pretty laid back. I love jumping on there and talking to you guys. These live streams on YouTube here are a lot more structured on a topic. The Instagram ones are a little bit more anywhere you want to go with them, we'll go. So definitely follow me over on Instagram at The Josh Speaks. I think that you will have a great time in those live streams as well, guys. So follow me over there. What I also want to say is this, that I just checked earlier today, and then we got a new YouTube channel member. So I'm going to reach out to him and say hi, and we'll set up our call. But I would love for you guys to become patrons or YouTube channel members. What are the perks of becoming a patron, right? If you're someone that wants to talk to me one-on-one, right? So you want to have a one-on-one private conversation where you can talk about what's going on in your life, check out the link to Patreon, patreon.com/thejoshspeaks. That's going to allow you to kind of schedule a one-on-one time with me. I've set up new tiers so that you can set up a 30-minute call a month. You can set up an hour call a month, or I set up a mentor tier where 4 weeks every month, so once a week essentially for 1 hour, we can jump on a call. So if you're someone that's looking for mentorship in your life, hey, like you're telling yourself, hey, you know what? I want someone that I can go through what's going on in my week and they can give me their perspective and we can do this every single week. Check out the mentor tier there on Patreon. You can also become a YouTube channel member. I haven't set those tiers up there, but the perks of becoming a YouTube channel member is that you get a cool little icon next to your name here. I also have different perks there as well. So hit the little join button. If you click the little $sign there, you should be able to donate a super chat or become a member, I think it says. So check it out there. Look at the perks and see if it's something that you're interested in checking out, guys. And the other piece I wanted to share here is this, our community, guys. Look, I'm not always available to answer every question that's on your mind, but our Discord community is the perfect place to ask questions and get answers and feedback from people just like you who are trying to figure it out. Whether it's a dating question, a question about school, life, relationships, whatever's on your mind. Our Discord and our community is the best place to kind of jump in and make friends, to talk about what's going on in your life. I love jumping in and hearing what you guys are talking about and being part of those conversations. It's a really, really great place to kind of vent and share what's on your mind. We have a vent board if you want to just go on there and just let out steam and say whatever's on your mind without thinking about it. Just put it out there. But the Discord is just an awesome, awesome place, guys. I would love to have you as part of our community. If you haven't checked it out yet, Discord is an app, right? So you can just download the app on your phone and join it. It's a free and open community, open to everyone. I'd love to have you as a part of it, guys. I think you'd really, really enjoy it. Okay, cool. So as we move through more of these points, I'm going to jump in and answer one or two more questions here. Softwheat says, hey Josh, did you know you can drink diet water? I did not know this. This is full fat water, I guess. Softwheat says I might do a podcast. You definitely should. Softwheat. We missed the Softwheat podcast over in the Discord. Let's see. Rage Master says, do you still do Snapchat? Yeah, I mean, I don't really respond to a lot of messages on Snapchat. Instead, I respond to messages through my texting number. So I haven't set up a thing on my Stream Deck yet, but if you guys wanted to text me and talk about what's going on in your life there, let me put the text number, my phone number. You guys can always text me there. I'll just pin it. Yeah, guys, like I said, if you have questions and stuff, shoot me a text, or like I said, check out Patreon, all those different places. I think they'll be super helpful for you guys. As I was saying, let's move on to point number 4 here, guys. And that's going to be, let's see, I'm just reading through some more of this. Rage Master says, we need to get more people to subscribe to Josh so we can get Josh to do the mindfulness. Oh, yes. Guys, just in case you don't know, at 200,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a water drinking ASMR video. Now, I don't even remember the origins of why we decided on that, but that's what's been decided. I'm going to make a video of me drinking water, and you can hear the delightful sounds of the... I don't know. Anyway, okay. Let's jump into point number 4 here, guys. We're talking about how to not be a creep, right? Things you should stop doing so you don't come off as creepy, and that's going to be this. Sign number 4 here, guys. Don't gush about your feelings for them at the start. Look, I've talked to a lot of you guys about this, and this is a question that comes up a lot. Do I tell my crush how I feel? When do I tell my crush how do I feel? How do I tell my crush how I feel? Haley says, if you jump into voice chat and Discord, I have a surprise. Well, now I have to jump into voice chat, Haley. I'm definitely going to be there. After the Instagram after party, guys, I jump over on Discord, but I'll get to that in a second. So when I talk about gushing your feelings for them, I think where the mistake a lot of people make is that they like someone, they want to tell them how they feel, but they don't really know when to do it or how to go about doing it. So instead, they just kind of let it all out as soon as they can, right? Dario asked a good question. What is gush? Maybe I should have chosen a more simple word, but to gush about something is to just kind of like unload, to let it all out, to just letting your feelings all out. And a lot of guys will do this. They'll send this gigantic message to their crush saying, oh my God, I think you're so perfect and you're amazing and I love you and I want to be with you and will you be my girlfriend? And it would be so great if we were together. So they'll send these messages and stuff, and that's gushing your feelings. You're just kind of letting it all out. And when guys do this sometimes, especially when they're not that close to their crush or they're not really building any kind of romantic connection with their crush, it can come off as creepy, right? Your crush might feel like, oh, whoa, that's too much too soon, or like, oh, I didn't know you felt that way about me, because you haven't built up to that moment. That's why I always say this, guys. It's not about telling your crush how you feel. It's about showing your crush how you feel. Telling your crush how you feel is just sending them a message, unloading everything. I like you. I want to be with you. Will you be my girlfriend? Showing your crush how you feel is talking to them, learning about their hobbies, asking them to hang out one-on-one, flirting with them, joking around with them, and then when you feel like you guys are connecting, telling them, I think you're really cool and I really love spending time with you and I think you're an awesome person and I want you to be my girlfriend. Like, that's how you show them how you feel. But if you're just gushing and telling them everything from the get-go, that can come off as incredibly creepy and it can come off as weird to them because they don't feel that connection with you yet and they may not know how to respond. A lot of guys make this mistake. I made this mistake tons of times growing up because I didn't put in the work to get to know the person better. Instead, I just wanted to make things happen. I wanted to rush into my feelings and just put it out there. So, of course, I want to do a chat poll. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Every single person watching, I want to get your perspective on this, guys and girls. Have you ever confessed your feelings to your crush? And then if you have, did you do it too soon or did you do it too late? Did you do it? When did you do it? Have you ever confessed your feelings to your crush? I've done it to quite a number of crushes over the years. Girls that I liked, but I was sort of like on a friendly level with them. They had no clue that I liked them. We just kind of casually talked. And then when I did it, they kind of responded with this, whoa, friend zone, like I talked about in my previous video there. Softweed says, I want Josh to drink water again. All right, let's try this. Let's do it from this side. Now it's just getting weird. Anyway, have you ever confessed your feelings to your crush before? Let's hear what you guys had to say. Orzi says no. Let's see. Hugfall says no, others have. Softwheat says yes. Just Some Green Dude says no. Alex Burns says I'm waiting for next year and no. Daniel says, guys, chill, jeez. Fernplant says yes, it didn't work at all. Shravan says, I confessed number 28 only because I was leaving college because YOLO. Yeah, look, if you're leaving a school, it's like you might as well kind of shoot your shot and ask them out. You know, you're kind of positioned, hey, I'm probably not going to see you again. Let me at least try. I understand that. Chloe says, I think I never did. Kind of regret it, though. This is also another thing, too, that you wait for the right moment. You wait and you wait and you wait, and then you miss it, right? You lose the opportunity to talk to them. So it's not a matter of like do it as soon as you can and then do it at the end. It's like you have to find the right time. And the only way you're going to find that right time is if you're actively pursuing that person and trying to get to know them better, trying to spend one-on-one time with them, trying to see how the two of you connect. Dark Tar says, yes, oh my God, yes. I'm so guilty of this one. I posted my story of this on the Josh Speaks subreddit a while back. Dark Tar, that's a good plug for the subreddit. Someone, if you can, share the link to the subreddit in the share the link to the subreddit in the YouTube chat. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, guys, we have a subreddit as well. I definitely need to make a button for it. I need to set up a whole bunch of new buttons, but definitely check out our subreddit, guys. I think that you would really, really enjoy it. I think it'd be super, super helpful place for you to kind of just talk about what's going on in your life, share stories and stuff. It's a great place to post long form stories if you have them. So I would highly, highly recommend checking out our subreddit and checking out the story that was posted in there by Dark Tar. Let's see. Viperman says, girls in the UK are very different and they would call you a simp for flirting. It seems impossible to get a girlfriend in the UK. Yeah, so think about that, Viperman. Just the idea of flirting with a girl will merit them calling you a simp, right? So it really comes down, I think, to how you approach them and how you talk to them. If that girl feels like you're being inauthentic and you're just trying to act all cool and suave while flirting with her, yeah, then she's going to think that's creepy. She's going to think you're weird. That goes back to what we were saying before, right? If you're authentic and you're talking to them and you're asking questions and you drop in, you know, you're a pretty fun person to talk to. I think you're kind of cute too. You know, like you're being authentic, you're being real, you're sharing that perspective with them. So I think that, I don't know if so much, maybe the culture is different. Maybe girls in the UK maybe are a lot more blunt and they'll call you out on that. In the US, I know they could be that way too. I think cultures change and people change depending on where they live and stuff. So, but I think ultimately being authentic is the best way to go. But if you find yourself in a position, like I said, where you are constantly messaging your crush over and over and you're just unloading your feelings to them, yeah, it's going to push them away. It's going to make them feel like this guy is not giving me space. He's not communicating on my level and he's just trying to bombard me with messages. Azim says, doesn't being popular really mean be more social and outgoing? Should you say hi? Oh, I missed that. Where'd it go? Oh, should you say hi to everyone, even people who don't like you? Softwheat, you got to cool it down, man, on the so many messages because it's blocking out the rest of the chat. Try to message every so often, but not stream of conscious, man, because it's too crazy. It makes things too crazy. Plus, I don't know how your fingers work so fast. Back to Azim's question. Doesn't being popular really mean be more social and outgoing? Shouldn't you say hi to everyone and even people who don't like you? So Azim, that's a good question. I don't think that, I I don't think it should be a matter of like, just force yourself to say hi to everyone just because you should, right? I think that it is incredibly important to step out of your comfort zone and be more social and interact more than maybe we normally do, right? Because that helps us build practice and stuff. But to be popular is a different kind of thing, right? So being social is not exactly the equivalent of being popular. For example, if you look at people who stand outside of like, here's an example, right? Whenever I go to Trader Joe's, not recently because of the pandemic and stuff, but before pandemic, whenever I go to Trader Joe's, there's always like people outside with like the clipboards and stuff, and they're trying to get you to sign up for things. Oh, hey, how's it going? They are incredibly social, but they are not popular. So simply interacting with people doesn't make you popular, right? It's not a matter of like, if you're social, then you're popular. What makes someone popular and stand out is that there's something about them that people are drawn to learn about them. People are drawn to talk to them, to discover more about who they are. Maybe it's a sense of mystery. Maybe it's a sense of humor. Maybe it's a sense of attraction, whatever it may be. So to build up that sense of popularity, I think, is to have people kind of desire you in a kind of way. So we can get into a deeper conversation about that some other time, I think. Daniel says, don't send 8 messages in a row. Simple, straightforward tip right there. Okay, but I want to get into the 5th point here, guys, and that's going to be this. This is the 5th sign that you should be looking out for. These are creep behaviors that scare away your crush. So this is one I want to kind of explain a little bit. Don't keep being persistent if they've expressed disinterest. This is going to confuse a lot of people, I think, because it's hard to determine when to be persistent versus when to kind of give people space and back away, right? Some people may say, oh, if a girl rejects you, you should keep being persistent because you can kind of win her over, you could change her mind, right? And then some people would say, hey, if a girl doesn't respond to you or doesn't acknowledge you, then that's it, you never talk to them again. I don't know if either extreme really makes sense, but I do know that it does lie somewhere in the middle. That to some degree, you're going to need to be persistent if you want to get to know your crush better, right? Because look, you're not in your crush's day-to-day life right now. Your crush has friends, your crush has schoolwork, your crush has after-school activities. Their life is complete. If you don't enter that circle at any point, they're just going to keep doing their normal thing. You're not even a thought in their mind. But in order to enter their frame of like the things that they do, in order to get into that, step in that door, you do need to be a bit persistent. And that might mean trying to grab some of their time, trying to grab some of their attention, trying to grab their interest in some kind of way. But what makes it creepy when a guy is too persistent is that he is just operating for what he wants and not for what their shared experience is. So a guy who, let's say, hits on a girl and the girl like tells him like, I'm good, leave me alone. And the guy responds back with, oh, you're playing hard to get. He's not paying attention to what she's giving off. He's not paying attention to her reaction. So he'll keep hitting on her. He'll keep saying things to her, and he'll keep trying to win her off. This is what guys do when they catcall in the streets, right? They will catcall a girl who won't even look at them, not even paying attention to them, clearly not interested, and they'll just keep doing it because their focus is only on themselves and what they want. And I think that's a bad approach because it makes you come off looking like a creep. So how do you prevent this? How do you flirt with someone? How do you talk to them? How do you be persistent without being creepy? I think the key to doing that is reaching out to that person, trying to connect with them over something that you think would grab their interest, not over something random and insignificant, right? So that's why I said asking a question is a good way to do it because you're opening the door for them to share something with you. Now, if you shoot your crush a message and you're like, hey, I'm thinking about taking this class next semester in college. Have you ever taken it before? What do you think about it? And your crush doesn't respond, or your crush sees it and doesn't respond, whatever it is, you might want to take a different approach to talking to her, right? Now, that's the level of persistence that I'm talking about. It isn't message. It's, okay, she saw the message. Maybe if I see her in person, I can stop her and say hi to her, or I can ask her another question there. And then if she ignores me there, now I have to kind of, like I said, take the shared experience into play and say, she's kind of rejected me a few times here. She's probably not interested. Let me focus on other people that maybe can give me a little bit more rapport there and can build something with. But when people like someone, right? When you have a crush on someone, sometimes it's hard to see that. It's hard to take any other perspective in other than your own. So this is something I really want to challenge you guys to do, to really think deeply about, hey, am I communicating in a way that is opening space for this person to talk to me? Or am I just communicating? Am I just sharing things and asking and wanting things rather than allowing this person to kind of give me a sign back that they're interested? This is something I think a lot of people run into, but I'm going to jump to the chat here and see what some of you guys are saying. I'm just curious on your perspective. Alex Burns says, I don't flirt to any girls, just be yourself. I hear you on that. Darius says, has anybody seen a video where Marco Rubio drinks water? I think I did see that. I forgot what happens in it. It was like he drinks it really weirdly. He's like, or something like that. I don't remember what happened. Viperman says, Josh, you are probably the only YouTuber that answers questions from the chat. Most YouTubers don't even look at the chat. I hate when YouTubers do that. I truly, truly hate it. I don't understand why. It's like when I set up my live streams, I have my streaming on like 3/4 of the screen, and then I have the chat in the other half of the other quarter of the screen there. And it's like, I get it. Maybe some other YouTubers like only focus on the super chats and stuff, but I feel like the chat is the discussion. It's the heart of what's going on as you're doing your live stream. So it's so important to jump to the chat and answer. Now, I can't answer every question because sometimes the chat just moves too quickly or I just miss it and stuff like that. That's why I have the super chat function, so I can catch those significant questions people want to share. But like I said, ultimately, the key piece here is going to be, like communicating in a way that you are opening space for that person to share back with you. So I want to get a chat poll question here, guys. I want to ask you guys this. The point that I was sharing was, being persistent without being creepy. And I want to ask you guys this, yes or no. Are you persistent in talking to your crush? Or persistent with your crush here? Are you persistent in trying to pursue them? Like I said, in fact, I'm going to draw a chart and a diagram to go along with it. Your crush's day is already set. They already know what they're going to do. So you are trying to enter. You're trying to find a way in. And the way to do that is to be persistent. But you don't want to do it in a way that's going to actually push them away and make you look like a creep. So are you persistent when it comes to pursuing your crush? Yes or no? Azim, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Azim says, we've all been creepy. Question is how to recover and get a second chance. That's a good question, Azim. I think that the way to recover from being creepy, and that's a really important question. Hey, you messed up with this person. You did something. They see you as a creep. You want to fix that. You want to change it. I think the best way to change that is, one, you need to give it a bit of space and time, right? You need to give that person time to kind of move on, focus on other things, talk to other people, learn and grow in their own way. All the meanwhile, you are doing the same. You're moving on, you're working on those behaviors, you're figuring out how to be more confident in yourself. Because look, a lot of times when we're creepy, it's probably when we were younger, we were earlier in high school, or even in college sometimes that happens. We do it, right? The key is to learn and to grow from those experiences. So as you're in that process of flirting with other people, asking other people out, working on yourself, developing your hobbies, developing your confidence, now it's a matter of finding how you can have an overlap now with that person where you are in a new environment to present the new you. This is something I'm also planning on doing a video on too, Azim, because we've talked about this quite a few times. This idea of like, how do you present the new you to your crush? And I think that the way you do that is you have to change how you interact with them, right? So if you see them again at a party, you see them again in a friend gathering, you see them again in the park, anyway, you see them randomly, you want to show them, hey, I'm a different me. I'm fun, I'm lighthearted, I'm caring, I'm confident in the way that you interact with them. But if they see that you are still shy and timid and awkward like you were before in that creepiness, they're going to jump right back to that memory. Otherwise, if you're presenting this new you, they're going to go, he's kind of grown. He's kind of changed. He's different now. And that's really going to allow them to kind of start to change. This doesn't mean it's going to happen immediately, but they're going to start to change their perspective on you. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Azim. I think that's a really good question. So I asked you guys, are you persistent with your crush? Here's what you had to say. Shadow Place says yes. Asher says no. Daniel says, I would say yes. Alexander Cole says, Jealous Squad, I sometimes do the same thing. Oh, I might have missed that. Ashes and Roses asked this question. I wish I could answer before, but what do you mean by persistent? So what I mean by persistent, I mean is trying to find ways to build up communication with them, whether that's messaging them, talking to them in person, trying to set up plans where you can hang out, trying to set up group chats or group activities where you guys can all hang out as friends. That's what I would mean by being persistent, actively trying to learn more about them, actively trying to set up a one-on-one date with them at some point. Let's see. Jalen says yes. Shravan says no, but I still have feelings post getting rejected. I hear you on that. Softwheat says I'm persistent in pursuing, but like I know my limits. It's important to know your limits. That's a key piece. Fernplant says I'm too persistent. It can come off as needy or creepy. Yeah, Fernplant, that's my point. Sometimes if you're too persistent, you're only focused on what you want and you're not taking into account the other person's behavior and their feedback. And it's not to say that their feedback is clear and open. It's not like they're telling you, leave me alone, go away. They're not being that clear. Sometimes the girl in this equation might feel uncomfortable and might not know what to say to kind of get you to back off, but they want you to back off. And in those cases, you have to kind of read the body language. You have to kind of read the signals that are there. And those signals might be, hey, I'm not responding to you because I want you to just leave me alone. Jaden says, just now a crush applied to me. Awesome, Jaden. That's really cool, man. Reading through some more of these. Let's see. Dark Tower says, I'm a freshman in college. I saw Dark Tower responded to. No, I haven't been that persistent with my crush. I think I actually lost my feelings for her. It's understandable. That happens, man. Freshman army up in here. Let's see. Daniel says, I changed a lot this summer, I think, for the better. That's awesome, Daniel. That's really cool. So, guys, after this live stream, I'm going to jump on over to the Instagram, like I said, for the Instagram after party. And I figured I'll share it here because I think it would be helpful. If you feel like you're struggling, you don't know what to talk to your crush about, you don't really have any ideas for conversations, this is a free guide I put together, my 20 icebreaker conversation starters. And in this guide, I'm going to walk you through 20 different questions and topics you could bring up. These are fun, interesting, engaging questions you can ask your crush. And what's cool about this guide, it's not just, hey, here's a list of questions. It's, here's a question, here are good ways to use it and good substitutes. So if it's like, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite TV show? What's your favorite song? What's your favorite music artist? Like I kind of frame it in a way you can ask multiple questions and then also follow-up questions. In the guide, I kind of list out different follow-up questions you can ask your main question and then follow up with. So you can keep that conversation going. It's a free guide. Just go to thejoshspeaks.com/ice-breakers to go download it. I think it'll be super helpful for you guys. On that note, let's jump over to review these 5 points. I want to walk you through again, guys. By the way, if you haven't already hit the thumbs up on this video, everyone watching, I want to see how many thumbs up we can get by the end of it, guys. I'm going to walk you through the 5 points here again. These are 5 creep behaviors that scare away your crush. Don't do these things, guys. These are mistakes that people make, and I know you're better than that. I know you can work through it and work on these things. So let's jump in here. Sign number 1 here. Don't stare at them all the time without saying anything. People make this mistake all the time, guys. They just see their crush, they stare at them, and their crush thinks they're weird because they're not saying hi, they're not talking to them, they're not interacting with them anyway. If you like your crush, come up with one small thing you can talk to them about, whether it's asking them what their favorite show is on Netflix, asking them a good place to go after school, whatever it is. Take one small step so you're not just sitting there staring at them with your mouth hanging open and they just feel weirded out by it. Sign number 2, guys, don't lie about yourself or act inauthentic. A lot of times we want to boast and pretend that we're something we're not, and your crush is going to read through that. They're going to feel that you're being fake. They're going to feel like you're not being honest with them. So I want you to just be yourself in the sense of talking about things that matter to you, asking questions about things you're curious about, showing your crush that there's a level of interest you want to take in getting to know them better. And when I talk about acting inauthentic, I think a lot of people pretend that there's something they're not, right? If you are shy, if you are awkward, you're nervous, this is part of who you are and you're working on those things, right? But don't pretend and act like you're some cool guy and stuff, because your crush, once again, is going to see that and go, why is this guy acting fake? Why is he not being authentic and real right now? So be authentic, be yourself here. Sign number 3, guys, don't go overboard on messaging them. So many people do this. They message their crush 25 times in a row, guys, and they just keep, like thinking, hey, the more I message them, the better chance I have of getting a response. This comes off incredibly creepy. Your crush is going to think it's weird that you're messaging them so much and that you're not kind of giving them space to respond, or you're not respecting their silence in the equation. So if you try to message your crush and they don't respond, find an alternative way to talk to them. Whether that's setting up a group chat with your crush and a few of their friends and talking there. Whether it's talking in person, guys. Think of the multiple different ways that you can interact with your crush that isn't 15 messages in a row, because when you do 15 messages in a row, it's creepy. Sign number 4 here, guys. Don't gush about your feelings for them from the start. Someone asked before about gushing. What I mean by gushing is just like unloading, like verbal diarrhea in a way. You're just letting all your feelings out from the get-go. A lot of people do this where they just kind of outright confess their feelings to their crush without having built up any kind of connection or relationship there. And it can push your crush away. Your crush might feel like, whoa, who is this guy? Why is he saying this to me? Like, I barely even know him. So in order to prevent that from happening, it's incredibly important for you to take the active step of getting to know them better before you actually confess your feelings. Like I said, it's showing them how you feel, not just telling them how you feel. And the way to show them how you feel is asking them more about themselves, learning about their hobbies, trying to set up a one-on-one hangout where you guys can get to know each other on a personal level. And then when you feel like you guys are flirting and open with each other, then you can confess your feelings and tell them that you like them, tell them that you really want to get to know them better. Verbal diarrhea. That's what it ends up being, man. All right, sign number 5 is this, guys. Don't keep being persistent if they've expressed disinterest. A lot of people do this. They are so focused on what they want that they never take into account how the other person is reacting, how the other person is responding. Now, look, you might hear from pickup artist guys, oh, just, girls want this and guys want this, so just do this. And it's like, listen, if you're listening to anyone giving advice, especially dating advice, and they're not talking about how important it is to read the other person, to understand their perspective, to see where they're coming from, to read their body language, if they're not talking about those things, they're not talking about human communication. Because being persistent is important. You should be persistent. You should continue to be persistent with your crush, but you need to pay attention to what they're saying. You need to pay attention to how they're responding. If your crush is giving you subtle signs that they don't want to talk to you, if your crush is ignoring you or pulling away or looking away, then if you keep pushing forward, they're gonna think that's creep behavior. And you don't want to be labeled a creep here. You want to be someone they want to actively talk to. So don't keep being persistent despite everything else that comes your way. And on that note, guys, we are here at our mindful moment. I thought this was a really fun stream. I'm happy. We had a good amount of people being interactive and sharing their story. Thank you to everyone that's been in the chat talking and opening up and sharing what their experiences are. I appreciate every single one of you. Now, what I love to do in these mindful moments here, this is the closing point of the stream where we can breathe and we can kind of take in everything that we learned. I want you guys to really think deeply about the 5 creep behaviors that we talked about. I want you to think to yourself, hey, you know what? I do that one. I don't do that one, but I do that one. Think deeply about your own behavior and how you interact with your crush. And I want to bring it back, though, because sometimes we may do things and make mistakes and feel like, oh, man, we suck because our crush thinks we're a creep or I come off as a creep. I want you to know that no matter who you are, these are all things you can work on. Communication is always something you can work on. You can build those skills, you can practice, you can better yourself in any way that you need to or you feel like you want to. But it has to start from the root of loving who you are. Because you can pretend all day and play a character and act like you're super confident, but if you don't love who you are, it's going to be real hard to put yourself out there and be authentic. So what I want us to do in this mindful moment is, I have my bell right here, and I want us all to close our eyes. Close our eyes, and for 10 seconds, just 10 seconds, I want you to manifest love for yourself. I want you to close your eyes, put your hand on your chest if you want to, and take a deep breath in. And as you take that deep breath in, I want you to tell yourself, I'm lovable just the way that I am. I want every single person watching to do this. If you can, if you feel comfortable, maybe around friends or family, you don't want to, but close your eyes at least and think it. Put your hand on your chest if you can. Close your eyes and think, I'm lovable just the way I am. Let's listen to the sound of the bell. We're going to warm up the bell there. Let's go. I think it's so important to really acknowledge that you are lovable just the way you are. That life is all about learning, but just because you may not be where you want to be doesn't mean that you're not worthy of love. And I know sometimes we make mistakes and we get labeled a creep or we do creepy things, but everything is small steps. And these are all things that we can work on to be our best selves. Thank you guys for being a part of this live stream. Make sure to follow me over on Instagram so you can join the Instagram after party happening right after this stream ends. Also, if you're watching the replay, check out the videos over there on the side where I'm going to go more into creep behaviors that guys give off that you may want to steer clear of. Thank you guys for being a part of the live stream. Hit the thumbs up on your way out if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys over on Instagram. As always, love and peace. See you guys there.